connecting neighborhoods across the Treasure and Magic Valleys, telling stories from within our communities. This is Good Morning Idaho.
Hey, good morning, Idaho. Happy Tuesday, everybody. I'm senior reporter Roland Barris. Good to have you along and hope you're off to a good start on this Tuesday. We have a lot of information for you this morning from our large team of neighborhood reporters, bringing you local stories from across the Treasure and Magic Valleys, like our Keith Burrell this morning, who brings us details on a deadly shooting in Payette County that sprouted out of a road rage incident. So much of that on the roads these days. And along with that, we'll bring you the latest numbers on traffic incidents in Nampa. New numbers shared from the police department overnight. Plus, a Boise family is preparing to sue the Boise School District, alleging that their daughter suffered psychological harm from twice encountering a biological male in the girl's bathroom. We'll get to your neighborhood news coming up in just a moment, but first we start this morning with continuing coverage of the assassination of Charlie Kirk. A major update coming today as the Utah County Attorney is expected to file charges against 22-year-old suspect Tyler Robinson. ABC's Nicole D'Antonio is in Washington with a look ahead.
Prosecutors in Utah are preparing to file charges against 22-year-old Tyler Robinson, the man accused of killing conservative activist Charlie Kirk. Law enforcement sources telling ABC News that the suspect allegedly laid out his attack, tracking Charlie Kirk's schedule and studying a map of the campus.
We are very interested in how much time he spent on campus, how he got there, when he got there. We have the vehicle we believe he drove and that we can confirm was on campus that day.
FBI Director Kash Patel telling Fox that investigators recovered 2 pieces of evidence that were a match for Robinson's DNA. A screwdriver on the roof where they believe the shot was fired from, and on the towel wrapped around the rifle found in the woods. Patel also saying investigators are poring over any electronic devices the suspect might have used as the investigation moves forward.
A text message exchange where the suspect specifically stated that he had the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk and he was going to do that. And when he was asked why, he said some hatred cannot be negotiated with.
FBI Director Kash Patel will be on Capitol Hill today, taking questions on the FBI's handling of the Charlie Kirk shooting investigation and his overall leadership of the department. Now, the New York Police Department is warning of an increasingly volatile threat environment, saying the killing of Charlie Kirk and last year's killing of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson stem from the same toxic and violent atmosphere.
The political violence, targeted attacks, mass shootings that are plaguing the United States and have been for over a decade are in large part fueled by an online ecosystem that's saturated with violent and other content that's purposely placed there by foreign powers, terrorist groups, violent organizations here for the purposes of inspiring and informing future attacks.
Robinson is expected to make his first virtual court appearance later today, where prosecutors are expected to formally unveil the charges against him. Nicole D'Antonio, ABC News, Washington.
In the wake of Charlie Kirk's high-profile assassination, sources say the Trump administration is asking Congress for $58 million to boost security for the executive and judicial branches. And it's also supporting an increase in security for members of Congress, some lawmakers even canceling events.
I've been talking with a lot of them over the last few days about that and trying to calm the nerves, to assure them that we will make certain that everyone has the level of security that's necessary.
After Kirk's death, the spotlight is also turning to social media with bipartisan calls for reform. Many lawmakers demanding social media companies better regulate content, specifically for children, pointing to the graphic videos on Kirk's killing shared online.
Idaho News 6 will continue to follow the killing of conservative activist Charlie Kirk and bring you the very latest updates. For up-to-the-minute coverage, visit our website at idahonews6.com or use the Idaho News 6 app.
Many news organizations, including Scripps News Group, have policies in place when it comes to when or what graphic videos we air. That is done to protect victims, victims' families, and our viewers from unnecessary exposure to violence. But social media doesn't always follow the same guidelines, and experts say that's having an impact on people's mental health and sense of safety. Millions of people watched the moment conservative commentator Charlie Kirk was shot and killed during a speaking event in Utah. Video of the shooting immediately circulated on X, TikTok, and other social media platforms. Easy access to violent videos on computers and phones is leading to chronic stress in Americans, according to clinical psychologist and trauma expert Dr. Robin Koslowitz.
You're scrolling TikTok and all of a sudden an image just hits you between the eyes, and that's terrifying.
Koslowitz says watching a shooting or attack online is traumatic, even if you weren't directly involved.
The part of our brain that mediates our stress and trauma response doesn't really know the difference between something happening miles away and something happening right in front of you, because you're actually looking at something. It looks like it's happening right in front of you.
Criminologist Dr. Alex Del Carmen says these videos can potentially provide online inspiration to someone looking to commit a crime. In effect, creating a copycat.
In other words, they're going to copycat the technique and the style and engage in a criminal act.
Del Carmen says watching the raw footage of an actual criminal act has a greater impact than the fictitious crimes you'd see in video games or in the movies.
There's some distinction between the, quasi-reality and the real act.
Experts say violent images can also potentially contribute to people feeling less safe, adding that ensuring safety guidelines are followed is key. If you're struggling with how to deal with violent videos you see online, experts have a few tips. The first is to take regular breaks from social media. Experts also suggest reading news updates, not just watching videos. And for parents, make sure you're using the parental controls on your children's devices. Maya Rodriguez, Scripps News Group, Washington.
Now, the Idaho News 6 forecast.
Past the hour, everyone. Time to check on our weather. Sophia joins us. We saw a story we're going to be seeing again from Don Nelson a little bit later on of Tamarack and how close that rock fire came. But the good news is, first of all, it didn't destroy anything of value up there other than the trees. Second, it's going to open up a lot of terrain up there.
If we need someone to go down there, I will do it for us. I will do it. I have no complaints once the winter season comes in. So maybe if our news director Natalie's watching, I don't mind going down there. But either way, not winter just yet. So we've got some time before then, but we are starting to get that taste of fall, especially this morning. So take a look at downtown. Nice quiet start to the day, but chilly, lower 50s. If you make your way out, you're going to want to grab the light jacket, especially for the kiddos heading into the bus stop this morning. You've got those lower 50s to start the day. Nice and clear. We're not really looking at too much happen this week. It's going to overall be pretty quiet. By the time you're coming home, upper 70s, the nice sunshine is going to just continue on. So take advantage of it and maybe spend some time outdoors as soon as you get home. As we make our way into the end of the week, we'll be warming up, and I'll have all those details ahead.
A man is dead after a road rage shooting incident Monday morning in Payette County. I'm your neighborhood reporter Keith Burrell on Sand Hollow Road, where investigators shut down the road for much of the day as they did their investigation. Payette County Sheriff Andy Creech tells me the shooting happened shortly after 9 a.m. As deputies responded and determined two men got into an altercation while driving on the interstate. They got off at exit 13 for Sand Hollow Road when the sheriff says one driver pulled out a handgun and shot the other. The two cars involved, seen here, still at the scene.
We're not really sure where people were at during that altercation, but the vehicles came to a stop and there was some kind of a confrontation or something occurred once the vehicle stopped here. We're still working on what those details are.
The suspected shooter is in custody, and Sheriff Creech tells me he's cooperating and there's no ongoing threat to the community. From Payette County, I'm your neighborhood reporter Keith Burrell for Idaho News 6.
Overnight, the Nampa Police Department released their August traffic report. Last month, they conducted just under 1,800 traffic stops, issuing a little under 700 citations and about 750 written warnings, also about 170 oral warnings, and they made 44 DUI arrests. There were also 168 total crashes, and notably, of those crashes, 36 of them were hit and run, meaning over 20% of crashes last month were hit and runs. Let's continue to do our part to ensure safe Idaho roadways out there, everyone. A Boise family is preparing to sue the school district, claiming their daughter twice encountered a biological male in the girls' bathroom, violating Idaho's bathroom bill. The Idaho Family Policy Center filed a tort claim saying the girl suffered psychological harm. prompting her to switch schools. The Idaho Family Policy Center says the district told the family the student had bathroom access under a gender support plan. An Idaho state law passed in 2023 requires students to use restrooms matching their sex at birth and allows $5,000 in civil penalties per violation. The district has 90 days to respond before a lawsuit can move forward. President Trump signing an order to send the National Guard to yet another city to combat crime, this time in Memphis. The city and state leaders split on their reaction.
All right, our neighborhood of the day is Caldwell. Good morning to you as you head out this afternoon. You'll be touching into the lower 80s. Nice sunny day ahead. Make sure you spend some time outside. I'll be showing you how we warm up by the end of the week.
All righty. It is 12 minutes past the hour. It's time to take a look at your national headlines this morning. House lawmakers are hosting a hearing today addressing the rising cost of college. The hearing is titled No More Surprises, Reforming College Pricing for Students and Families. According to data from Bankrate, tuition at a four-year public school has risen 27% in the last 10 years. Also happening today, suspected killer Luigi Mangione is expected in a New York courtroom. He faces murder, terrorism, and firearms charges connected to the killing of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. The hearing comes as Pennsylvania prosecutors also request that Mangione appear in person for a November 7th hearing. And President Trump says he plans to file a $15 billion defamation lawsuit against the New York Times. He says the lawsuit will be filed in Florida. Trump accuses the Times of making false statements about him, his family, and his businesses, but did not elaborate on any of the allegations. Meanwhile, a new development this morning on President Trump's crackdown on crime. ABC's Nicole D'Antonio reports as the president is officially sending in National Guard troops to another city.
The green light has been given for the National Guard and other federal law enforcement to be sent to Memphis, Tennessee.
We're not going to allow this kind of savagery to destroy our society anymore.
President Trump late yesterday establishing a task force in Memphis to crack down on crime, similar to actions recently taken in the nation's capital.
The effort will include the National Guard as well as the FBI, ATF, DEA, ICE, Homeland Security investigations, and the U.S. Marshals. And more.
The move welcomed by Tennessee's Republican governor.
I'm tired of crime holding the great city of Memphis back.
But Democratic city leaders in Memphis calling the move unnecessary.
I'm certainly not happy about the National Guard. I am looking forward to trying to find ways to invest in the things that we're already doing to address crime in our city.
We shouldn't have to walk out the door feeling like we're in a militarized zone. That's right. This is not the Gaza Strip.
FBI figures show Memphis ranks first in the country in the rate of violent crime. But local officials report making progress, claiming historic reductions, saying the murder rate is at a 6-year low. Trump insists the city is overrun with crime and is vowing to take similar action in other cities run by Democrats.
We're going to be doing Chicago probably next.
Nicole D'Antonio, ABC News, Washington.
All right, 6:15 is your time. We have a cool afternoon ahead of us, but a warm-up by the end of the week. I'll have all the details in the forecast ahead.
Feliz National Hispanic Heritage Month. I'm our neighborhood reporter Leslie Solis at the Idaho Hispanic Community Center as they kick off the celebration with the Huellas del Tiempo event. It's a celebration many in this community wait for all year. Hispanic Heritage Month is officially underway, and here in Idaho, the kickoff brought music, food, and the vibrant spirit of community.
We feel passionate.
For many, it's also a moment of reflection on where they come from and who helped them get here.
My grandma and my grandpa, they came from the fields.
My husband is from Mexico. I'm Mexican-American.
Hispanic Heritage Month honors the history, culture, and contributions of Hispanic and Latino communities across the U.S. Here in Idaho, the Idaho Hispanic Community Center hosted its Huellas del Tiempo event, a celebration of culture, history, and identity.
Remembering what brought us here, who brought us here, and all the special things that differentiate us is so integral to creating community, right?
Executive Director Mari Ramos says it's also about education, making space for heritage to be seen and shared.
To honor that heritage and honor those footsteps of our parents, grandparents, our ancestors, and to remember that and take that forward for that next generation to continue those footsteps into the future.
And through every dance, every vendor, there's a story. Every day we got that Mexican culture, the heritage, it's all over. For Leia Hernandez, her small business mixes her love for culture and creativity. It means a lot to share the culture. It's a passion. Yeah, it is. Her drink business, Bebida Besties, does more than serve refreshments, it teaches. I'm hopefully spreading that awareness as well and people learning what bebida means.
I think it's important to teach them more of our homeland or our roots, where we come from, because it is rich in culture.
A celebration of history rooted in culture, powered by community and shared with pride.
Many tell me they hope to see more events like this throughout the month, hoping to educate and celebrate the Hispanic culture. I'm your neighborhood reporter, Leslie Solis for Idaho News 6.
Sophia Cruz with the Idaho News 6 forecast.
Rise and shine, everyone. Your time right now is 6:19, and happy Tuesday to you. Thanks for starting another workday with us. Now, across the board, we are all going to warm up by the end of the week, but today is still a nice cool day ahead. We've had that upper level trough that's been bringing us that nice cool weather and brought us a nice, fabulous weekend. Slowly shifting off to our east, and right behind that, you have that ridge coming in, and so that's going to bring in that southerly flow, which will eventually bring in that warmer weather. The one thing you're going to notice is that your mornings, though, have cooled down quite a bit. So within the past day, a lot of our morning lows have dropped between 5 to 7 degrees, depending on where you are. And waking up, you'll feel chilly if you don't grab the light jacket, especially if you're heading out the door in Stanley, just above the freezing mark. Waking up to 33 this morning. Along our valley floors, you've got upper 40s to lower 50s. Temperatures in your Magic Valley also waking up in the 40s. You've got 45 to start the day in Twin Falls, Burley, 42 and 45 in Oakley. And a lot of this is because we've been so clear and quiet, barely any clouds out there, which makes it easier for us to cool off, especially in our mornings. Also, our afternoons, they're not too hot. It's actually the perfect weather. You've got lower 80s stretching into Mountain Home, 81 in Glens Ferry, and lower 70s to follow into your mountains this afternoon. Now, we are eventually going to get above average. So right now, our average is just about 79. Lower 80s, so about 80 today. We're right near normal. But you'll notice that as we head into our Thursday and Friday, 87. So we're getting about 5 to 10 degrees above average as we head into the end of the work week. We do see temperatures lower into next week. I don't think we'll hit this 90 on Tuesday, but it does show you that we are going to see more consecutive upper 70s to lower 80s once we make it past our weekend. Now, on top of our weekend, we actually are going to be looking at some moisture come up, and it's coming from this tropical storm just down to our south. This is Tropical Storm Mario. Right now, it's not expected to make landfall on the U.S. It's actually going to dissipate because it's going to run into this really strong area of jet streams, and so that area of strong wind shear is going to really cause it to dissipate, but also the dry air that's going to eventually start to approach as it makes its way into the U.S. But either way, it is going to bring us in some rain chances, specifically Saturday and Sunday. Very light and mostly towards our southern areas, but by Sunday it does increase about 10 to 20% chance as we head into the end of the week. Now, either way, it's still a good and quiet week ahead. You've got upper 80s Thursday and Friday. By next week, lower 80s return, and we just are near normal. So not too much to say about the forecast, so make sure you spend some time outside.
In Buell, the November 4th election promises change as several city seats are on the ballot. The November 4th election seems like a long way off, but in just 7 weeks, it'll be time for Idaho's odd-year election when most municipal seats are elected. I'm your neighborhood reporter Lori in Nettleton, and in Buell, a big change is coming as 3 council seats are up for the voters and a challenge in the race for the mayor.
People call us politicians, but we're supposed to provide city services for our citizens.
Pam McLean served 16 years on city council before starting her first term as mayor in 2021.
So I remember those days when people actually wanted to sit down and have conversations.
Buell City Council has had a raucous few years with contentious issues, from letting the pool stay closed over the summer to twice voting to censure one of its own elected members. From your perspective, is everything as contentious as it seems?
You know, it isn't for a majority of the citizens of Buell. It's mostly just certain people.
Among the issues Buell faces, McLean said, was aging infrastructure on many city properties and increasing vandalism.
I wasn't going to run for mayor, but I had a group of people, including my husband, that was like, there's things you haven't finished yet.
As social media also serves as the town square, the dialogue it generates is often a contributing factor to contentious matters becoming even more contentious.
But, you know, the mayor's position has taken the brunt of the criticism. And unfortunately, negativity begets negativity.
There's one way to learn what's going on in the city, basically, right now. We don't have a newspaper, social media.
Doug Howarth told me recently he's attended every city council meeting. He's also filed to run for mayor.
I was like, it's time to do what I can to make a difference and put my hat in the ring.
Do you have any concerns that that might kind of put you in the crosshairs in any way?
There's risk and everything. I believe that, you know, you do what you feel is right, and there's no way you're going to make everybody happy. Be nice to make the majority happy. Listen to every voice, whether it's one person or a crowd.
Although there's still 7 weeks until the November 4th municipal elections, early voting begins October 14th and runs through the 31st. I'm your neighborhood reporter, Lorian Nettleton in Buell for Idaho News 6.
How Idaho native Colston Loveland is helping showcase Special Olympics athletes through the My Cause, My Cleats campaign.
Connecting neighborhoods across the Treasure and Magic Valleys, telling stories from within our communities. This is Good Morning Idaho.
Welcome back, everybody, to our last half hour on this Tuesday. I'm senior reporter Roland Barris, and we still have lots to get to this morning from our large team of neighborhood reporters to keep you informed. Neighborhood reporter Victoria Rodriguez highlights Chicago Bears tight end and Gooding native Colston Loveland's campaign, giving athletes in the Special Olympics community a unique opportunity to see their work presented on a national stage. Also coming up at 6:45, an Idaho News 6 exclusive that's new this morning. Our Don Nelson takes us up to Tamarack Resort, showing us the aftermath of the rock fire and what the ski resort is doing to make the best of a bad situation. Boy, it came close, didn't it? First, though, let's get the latest on our weather with Sophia Cruz. Those folks, first of all, that live in that area is so thankful for all the hard work of all the firefighters who did an amazing job up there.
Yeah, exactly, Roland, especially because now as we make our way into the cooler months, we don't necessarily have to worry about wildfires as much. And even today is a prime example of that. It's nice and cool when you head out the door. So while you do, you're going to want to grab the light jacket. You've got 52 waking up for breakfast by lunchtime, lower 70s. So if you maybe want to do a picnic in the park for lunch, it'll be perfect weather for that. By the afternoon, we stop at about 80. Plenty of sunshine today to enjoy. And while you do enjoy it, just make sure that you are still hydrating and really just taking those shade breaks too. The sun is going to be pretty prevalent into the afternoon. We're not seeing very many clouds, so while it's cool, you could still get a sunburn rolling, which is kind of funny to think about because it is cool. But yesterday I was out and I got a good tan still.
Yeah, it's definitely still a strong sun out there. Thanks, Sophia. Appreciate it. We turn now to the state of child vaccinations in America. New figures show parents these days are increasingly skeptical. And in Idaho, things are even worse. ABC's Morgan Norwood has the details.
Poll reveals just how many parents are now choosing not to vaccinate their children. The Washington Post finding 1 in 6 parents have either delayed or skipped some of the standard vaccines for their kids. The survey finding 9% of parents now say they've opted out of the MMR vaccine, which protects against the measles, mumps, and rubella.
That creates these unfortunate gaps in immunization coverage, which we know can leave kids vulnerable and possibly cause an outbreak if we don't have that protection.
A recent poll found certain vaccination rates of kindergartners dropping in the years since the pandemic, falling below the level experts typically recommend to protect communities from disease transmission. The country this year experienced its worst measles outbreak in more than 30 years, resulting in 3 deaths. Parents who skipped the vaccine cited concerns about side effects, a lack of trust in safety, and a belief that not all recommended vaccines are necessary.
We see that misinformation is still an issue. And this shows us that we still need to do some education when it comes to the schedule and why kids are getting the shots that they are when they are.
The data shows while most parents view childhood vaccines as safe and important, they're less confident in the flu and COVID shots. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. continues to question the safety of some vaccines. Just yesterday, he appointed 5 new members to the CDC's advisory committee, a panel responsible for making vaccine recommendations. Some of the new members have previously been skeptical of vaccines.
And that panel meets this week to discuss vaccines for COVID and other diseases. As for that new poll, it found that the parents most likely to opt out of child vaccines were Republicans, younger parents, and those who homeschool their children. Morgan Norwood, ABC News, New York.
The state of Idaho is one of the worst in the country when it comes to vaccines, and the problem is apparently getting worse. According to the latest data from the CDC, Idaho's vaccination coverage among kindergartners is at a 15-year low, with only around 78% of students vaccinated this year compared to the national average of around 93% covered. Also concerning is the number of parents choosing to exempt their children from vaccines for non-medical reasons, with a state record 15% of parents choosing to opt out of vaccines. In the 2011 to 2012 school year, only 5% of Idaho parents were choosing to exempt their children from vaccines for non-medical reasons. Now, the national average for non-medical exemptions is also at a 15-year high, but at a mere 3.4%. 5 new members have been named to the CDC's Vaccine Advisory Committee. The appointments come just days ahead of a key meeting about vaccines for COVID and other diseases. In June, Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. abruptly removed all 17 sitting members of the committee. At the time, he said they were, quote, plagued with persistent conflicts of interest. Kennedy then replaced them with 8 of his own candidates. Several of the members have made unproven claims about vaccines. Don't panic if you see smoke in the forest. The Forest Service is beginning a series of prescribed burns throughout the Boise National Forest. The work starts this week, pending weather conditions, and will continue through January. The goal is to use small controlled fires to burn up overgrown vegetation and prevent bigger wildfires later.
Chicago Bears select Colston Loveland, tight end, Michigan.
Chicago Bears tight end and Idaho native Colston Loveland is teaming up with Special Olympics Idaho, giving athletes a chance to design cleats he'll wear during an NFL game. I'm your neighborhood reporter, Victoria Rodriguez, and I spoke with Special Olympics Idaho about what this means for their athletes. The NFL's My Cause, My Cleats campaign gives players a platform to highlight causes close to their hearts. This year, Idaho athletes with Special Olympics had the chance to be a part of that spotlight by designing the cleats Gooding native turned pro football player Colston Loveland will wear during the season.
Colston and his family have been involved with Special Olympics for a while. One of his relatives is a Special Olympics athlete, and he's traveled across the globe with Special Olympics. And now that Colston's on the platform that he is, he reached out and wants to kind of be a part of the Special Olympics Idaho family.
Braden Armand, sports coordinator at Special Olympics Idaho, says the partnership gives Idaho Special Olympics athletes an opportunity they won't forget.
Up to 4 athletes will be the artists of the shoe, so they all have the opportunity to have their design globally seen, nationally seen.
The process is simple. Idaho Special Olympics athletes can download templates from the Special Olympics Idaho website, then submit their designs by October 1st using markers, crayons, or digital tools. Colston's family will review the submissions. The winning design will be hand-painted onto Colston's cleats.
I think it tells a lot about Colston himself. I remember on our introductory meeting how much he really wanted to give back to the community.
I'm originally from Gooding, Idaho.
The conversations that we had, how down-to-earth Colston was on how supporting the mission, giving back to Idaho. Even though he's out in Illinois, multiple states away, he really does care about the home state of Idaho.
Colston will wear the winning cleats during Week 13 of the NFL in November. Reporting in Boise, I'm your neighborhood reporter, Victoria Rodriguez for Idaho News 6.
Week 2 of NFL football is officially in the books after last night's closing game between the LA Chargers and Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders' star running back Ashton Jeanty had a brief shining moment on a 13-yard carry in the first quarter. The hometown hero coming off the weak side edge and trucking over a blitzing safety for additional yards after contact. A familiar sight, of course, for Boise State fans. The Raiders went down early, so a game script prevented Jeanty from really getting too many opportunities, and he ended with a modest 43 yards off of 11 carries. The Raiders ended up losing 20-9 and look to take on the Washington Commanders on Sunday.
It's a matchup of two giant killers, and it happens right here on the Blue. Boise State locking in the kickoff time for its game against Appalachian State. The matchup is set for 5:30 p.m. Saturday, September 27th. It will also be broadcast on Fox Sports 1, and it should be an exciting one. Both programs have made a name for themselves with signature upsets over the years.
We're starting the week off nice and cool, but temperatures are changing, and by the end of it, we'll be pretty warm. I'll show you the rest of the forecast ahead.
I'm not confident of anything.
The Federal Reserve Board meets today at a pivotal time for the panel. It has a new face after last night's Senate confirmation of Stephen Myron. He's replacing a governor who resigned last month. He's also keeping his job at the White House, but going on unpaid leave.
The senators at least say the right thing about independence, and I think that counts for something.
Fed Governor Lisa Cook is still on the board today, despite President Donald Trump's attempt to fire her. That's after an appeals court ruled in her favor yesterday.
The key takeaway here is what exactly is cause and what kind of power does that ultimately give to the president of the United States when it comes to the Federal Reserve?
Trump is pushing the Fed to slash rates. Many investors expect it to announce a modest quarter-point cut tomorrow.
They're making a bet that the recent reacceleration in inflation is being driven by tariffs and that they can look through it. That's a big bet.
Meanwhile, many economists are sounding the alarm about stagflation. That's the combination of slow economic growth, a rise in unemployment, and inflation. Experts say it's a challenge for the Fed.
Tariffs cause the economy to shrink. That's the sort of thing you'd normally cut rates for. Tariffs cause inflation to rise. That's the sort of thing you'd normally raise rates for.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
All right, kiddos, as you head out for school, lower 50s, upper 70s into the afternoon, plenty of sunshine. I'll be showing you the rest of the week ahead.
For Idaho News 6, I'm senior reporter Don Nelson. The rock fire in Valley County burned close to 3,000 acres, came dangerously close to the Tamarack Resort. Here's your first look at the silver lining that the fire provided the resort.
Someone texted me from Highway 55 area and said, I think one of my friends, it was like, bro, your mountain's on fire.
According to Scott Turlington, president of Tamarack Resort, said from that point on, it was all hands on deck.
I've never seen agencies mobilize, especially federal agencies, like mobilize that quickly. It was incredible.
The flames were dangerously close to the resort.
Listen, there's 450 homes a mile away from this. You've got, this massive village, 100,000 feet of commercial space. You've got, 7 lifts. You've got all this infrastructure. So there's a lot at stake.
How close did the rock fire come to Tamarack? Well, we are standing on Tamarack property right now. Here's the silver lining of this fire. All of these trees will be taken out, and this will be added ski terrain this winter that skiers will love. All of this you'll be able to drop right down onto Bliss.
It's not what Turlington and his staff had envisioned when they started talking about expansion plans years ago.
Not how we plan on getting there, right? Fire is obviously a natural part of the ecosystem. It does create opportunities for new terrain. Luckily, no one was hurt, and our teams did a great job, but ultimately, this is sort of how you make lemonade from lemons.
The nearby Mid-Mountain Lodge that just opened last year acted as a staging area for firefighters while providing shelter and a place to tap into needed water.
But what we allowed the Forest Service to do and what they were able to do is take hoses and tie in to our hydrants, which I'll show you over here. And they did this all up and down the mountain in the ski runs. And then from there, they roll out the lines. In fact, this is still some of their hose that's tied in.
Turlington and his crew Cannot say enough about the firefighters on the ground and pilots in the air.
That's been the cool part. Like, we've had tons of our employees and owners here write letters and send cards, and I mean, we've had them drop them off in my office to say, hey, you know, when you see the firefighters, please, you know, get these cards to them, and we always pass those along.
And as black as the forest looks now, there are already signs of new life coming back.
Reporting from Tamarack Resort in Valley County, I'm senior reporter Don Nelson.
Sophia Cruz with the Idaho News 6 forecast.
I am really excited for snowboarding. Just even thinking about it puts a smile on my face. Now, we still have some time before then, and we still have to get through fall together, but today is a good taste of fall. So as we make our way out to our morning, it's been pretty cool. A lot of that cooler weather was from this trough that we saw, and now making its way over Montana and Wyoming, but a lot of what's behind that is that ridge that's going to build in and eventually and slowly warm us up throughout the end of the week. Now, within the past day or so, we have seen some slight changes in our weather. This is just for our morning lows, really, dropping off between 5 to 7 degrees, depending on where you're waking up. But either way, it is a chilly start to the day, so do grab the jacket as you head out for your morning. You're waking up to 31 in Stanley, upper 40s along our valley floors, and this is some of the coolest weather we've seen for our morning, especially because it's been so nice and clear. That's been helping us really radiate a lot of that heat off throughout the afternoons and overnight. So you'll notice that your mornings very cold to start. 44 in Twin Falls, 43 in Burley, 35 waking up in Fairfield. By the afternoon, we do get to that nice midpoint where it's not too hot and not too cold. It's actually perfect weather, and we're just right at average too. You've got lower 80s into Mountain Home, 81 into Glens Ferry, lower 70s to follow into your mountains, and by the time we head into Thursday and Friday, we'll actually be about 5 to 10 degrees above average. So we'll hit 87 Thursday and Friday, so if you miss the warmer weather, that's going to be there pretty soon. It's just by the end of the week. Into next week, we'll hover with the upper 70s to lower 80s. So that's going to be really the trend as we head into September, is about 79-80 pattern. Once we get above that, that's really above average temperatures. Now, through our weekend, we will be looking at some chances of rain. This is Tropical Storm Mario, so as you make your way out into your weekend, this will bring us actually the remnants of it. So it'll bring in some isolated showers, but it's going to dissipate, and it's not expected to make landfall in the U.S. This is all going to run into dry air and also wind shear, which is going to cause it to disorganize. But for us, it is going to bring in that chance of rain Saturday and Sunday. It's not very much, but it is something that is there. So across our southern areas and over into eastern Idaho, it brings about 10 to 20% chance of rain through Sunday. This really focuses, it looks like, over our west central mountains, and I'd be surprised if we even see a shower or two along our valley floors. Either way, it is still going to be a good week ahead, and it's very quiet weather here this week. We get a nice warm up by the end of it. So Thursday and Friday, 75 in Sun Valley, lower 70s, return into the weekend and early next week. Now for us and closer to home, we will see those upper 80s both Thursday and Friday, but after that, it's pretty quiet weather. You've got 81 into Saturday, 79 Sunday. Going to be another good weekend similar to last weekend, so if you couldn't get outside, you will have to at least at some point this week. By Monday and Tuesday, temperatures sit in the 80s. So it's now getting to that point where it's very quiet weather and there's not too much to say about the forecast, other than I hope you spend some time outside today. All right, now it's Tuesday morning. Let's get you ready for your morning commute.
The Idaho News 6 traffic report is brought to you by Champion Windows.
6:50 is your time, and we are giving you a live look of downtown. And as you make your way out for your Tuesday, thanks for starting another morning with us. Here's a look at I-84 at Garrity. Nice chilly start here, so if you do head out, just make sure you grab the light jacket. Right now, we're not looking at too much action happening in the westbound lane. It's really all in the eastbound lane as you approach this area, so just a heads up, you may run into some slowdown. Otherwise, pretty quiet across most of our neighborhoods this morning. It's just I-84 eastbound where we're looking at that slow up. Closer to downtown, another area of slowdown is going to be on West Myrtle Street. I'll continue to keep you up to date as we move through our morning together.
Overnight, the Nampa Police Department released their August traffic report. Last month, they conducted just under 1,800 traffic stops, issuing a little under 700 citations and about 750 written warnings, also about 170 oral warnings, and they made 44 DUI arrests. There were also 168 total crashes, and notably, of those crashes, 36 of them were hit and run, meaning over 20% of crashes last month were hit and runs. Let's continue to do our part to ensure safe Idaho roadways out there, everyone.
Now we'll look outside from the Treasure Valley Chevy Dealers Tower Cam.
In this morning's GMA First Look, a mother remembers. For the first time since Malcolm Jamal Warner's tragic death, his mother is opening up to Robin Roberts about the actor and musician who entertained us for decades.
I heard you say when you were first told, you let out a scream.
Yes.
That people from the end of the cul-de-sac came running.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. It was from the bottom of my soul, and what came up and what came out was huge. It was an undescribable pain that resonated throughout my body.
And coming up at 7 a.m., we'll have much more of Robin Roberts' interview with Malcolm Jamal Warner's mother. With your GMA First Look, I'm Perry Russum, ABC News, New York.
All right, everybody, it is just 5 minutes before the hour, and welcome back to Good Morning Idaho. We're starting to wrap things up on a Tuesday morning. And in case you missed it, here are the top stories we're following from our neighborhood reporters.
In Buell, the November 4th election promises changes. Several city seats are on the ballot. Buell City Council has had a raucous few years with contentious issues, from letting the pool stay closed over the summer to twice voting to censure one of its own elected members.
People call us politicians, but we're supposed to provide city services for our citizens.
How close did the rock fire come to Tamarack? Well, we are standing on Tamarack property right now. All of these trees will be taken out, and this will be added ski terrain this winter that skiers will love. All of this you'll be able to drop right down onto Bliss.
And as black as the forest looks now, there are already signs of new life coming back.
There's a celebration kicking off National Hispanic Heritage Month. Idaho's Hispanic Heritage Month celebration brought families together at the Huellas del Tiempo event. The event featured music, food, and local businesses sharing their cultural stories and traditions with the community, highlighting the rich heritage and contributions of the Hispanic and Latino families across the state.
That meet looked fantastic. Of course, you can learn much more about all these stories on our website. Just head to idahonews6.com.
Now, the Out the Door forecast, brought to you by Pella Windows and Doors.
All right, 6:56 is your time, and as you head out for your morning, it is going to be quite chilly. You've got 50s into 9 a.m. By lunchtime, we'll be touching into the 70s. By this afternoon, upper 70s, so really nice weather as we get ready for a Tuesday together. Speaking of getting ready, let's get you ready now to head into your morning commute.
The Idaho News 6 traffic report is brought to you by Champion Windows.
All right, just a time check for you. It's 6:57, and still the only slope we've seen so far is along I-84 eastbound, major slope at least. And as you start to approach into downtown, just to give you a clearer picture, this isn't even a clearer picture. This is I-84 Canyon Marine. You can see that eastbound lane starting to get quite busy out there. Westbound lane, not too bad. As far as what our drive times look like, Chittenden Boulevard onto US 20 if you're heading in this direction, just under 13 minutes as you head into downtown. Good news is, Roland, it's not too busy yet, and it's Tuesday. Sometimes Tuesdays can be a little bit harder than Mondays.
Yeah,
know?
Sometimes it's that way. Yesterday was a gorgeous day. It's going to be another one today.
Yeah.
How about those pictures from Tamarack? It does get me excited about going skiing, and I'm just so thankful that everything was stopped, that rock fire was stopped by those great firefighters who did an amazing job.
Me too. And if we need to do the morning show from there one day, maybe on a fresh powder day, let us know. Maybe someone from Tamarack is watching. They can.
Right? Can you ski in the dark?
You can. You can do it at Bogus, actually.
At Bogus you can. Yeah,
Bogus.
there's no question about that.
I'm
well,
so
hey,
excited.
no snow to worry about today. Everyone's going to be a gorgeous day. Go out and enjoy it, and we'll see you back here bright and early tomorrow morning. Have a great day, everyone.